Yeah, boy. You know who it be? It's your boy, Mikey Moo. Enjoying it. I know. Someone said, oh, it's cold out. Not next to this fire. You know, I dedicate tonight's fire to step number 1. Now, across the board in most 12-step programs, whether it's from debt, gambling, that first step, for me, that step read simply this: that I admitted my powerlessness over my addiction and that my life had become unmanageable. Whoa, boy, do you know how humiliating it was as a man who was raised to be a man? Period. You break a leg, shit, get up, boy, rub it off, walk it off. Those were the things I was taught as a man. You suffered in silence. No one gave a shit about man's mental health. Come on. You were meant to be a king, a leader, a lion. Not none of this little pansy ass shit you see today. Sorry. No, I'm not. So for me to admit that I was powerlessness over my own life, come on. Man, that was one of the most humbling experiences I had ever had in my life. If there's anything close to what they might call a spiritual awakening, the very moment that I accepted that I was powerlessness, that led me to believe that there was a better way. And that maybe one of these programs, the 12-step programs, would point the direction. And I'm glad they did. Because they pointed me back to a path that I had walked away from. I had walked away from God. I didn't want to hear anything about that, dude. We're cool, But those programs put me back into contact with the spiritual relationship that I had with the God of my understanding. It wasn't a religious relationship. It was a spiritual relationship. 90% of my life I've been broken. Broken. Struggling like hell. Failures maybe through successes thrown in there, but most, failures and fuck-ups. Excuse the grammar. But when I got to the program and that step number 1 hit me, it was like I had ran into a brick wall, man. I struggled with that step for months. I admitted my powerless. I'm not powerless over shit. I'm a man. I dominate. The insanity of addiction. Boy, when I finally had that clarity, that moment of clarity, when I could clearly see beyond the shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I was powerless. The things that was going on in my life, man, my life was unmanageable. And it was unmanageable simply because of the addiction in my life. I had surrendered who I was to becoming a slave to an addiction. Something actually that was created by man. My number 1 addiction was alcohol. All created by, some man. So I surrendered who I was in the image of God to what some man created. Ooh. Can't serve 2 masters. It was crazy. So, yeah, step number one, I'm sorry I went there. So step number one was hard for me, but I'm glad I got past it. I really am. Because it opened up a whole new perspective. Everything about the past stayed there. The very moment that I had that, that moment, that epiphany, so to speak. And from that moment forward, I could move forward. I didn't have to be so stagnant in the misery that I had surrounded myself in. I could grow. I could make amends. I could apologize. Not only to everyone else, but to myself. That's the big thing, is trying to forgive who we are, how we screwed up so much. But I'm cool with it, and I love it. And tonight, like I said, this is a fire that I started for everyone and anyone that has ever stepped through the door of a 12-step program and admitted that they were powerlessness. They admitted their powerlessness and went on to become something phenomenal, as a human being. So yeah, tonight's fire is for you. You in recovery, struggling, getting that hug at the door, that welcome, maybe that 30-day key. This fire's for you. I love you. I support you. And I'm sure Dr. Bob or Dr. Bill would probably agree with what I'm doing. I think maybe next Saturday I'll have a fire about step 2. My understanding of step 2. Love you guys. Peace out, one.